What we see on TV is only a glimpse, but we don't know what really happens behind closed doors. So that I'm not sure if he feels that he's trying to compete with Chantel. Because
Hello everybody, welcome to Miss Criticizer 2021. Hope you all are doing well, and I hope you all had a lovely weekend. If you're here for the very first time, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video, and last but not least, like this video. Family of Chantel, Season 4, Episode 3. Like I said to you guys, we get the episodes a bit later here in the UK, so that's why my review always seems to be 1 week late. Sorry for that. Now, it's the next day after Winter's surgery, and Winter, Karen, and Chantel are ready to head back home to Atlanta. So as they're in the car, they just have some kind of discussion. So Winter opens up that she spoke to Misoma, her new friend in Nigeria, and she was just explaining how she told him that she had the surgery, and the only thing he was devastated was that he didn't tell her this beforehand. Like he would have said a prayer for her, and because he deeply cares about her. But she has trust issues because she's bringing the issues that she experienced in her first relationship with Ja into this new friendship. And understandably so, Winter gave herself away. She gave her 7 years to somebody that didn't appreciate her, somebody who was very controlling, and somebody who saw her weakness. Because he felt, one, she was not experienced, two, she was insecure, and three, because again, looking at how Winter was, he felt that he could control her. So she's very wary about that. And so they just have this discussion about long distance relationships, because Karen said, "Are you sure he's your friend?" And she said, "Well, I'll just see how it goes, but he's a friend for now." And they start talking about Chantel, and Chantel was reminiscing and saying that Pedro and I, at our very early stages, we talked every single day. We were best friends, but it was also best friends with a love interest. And when she was explaining it, she just said, "I don't know what went wrong. Like, there's a huge contrast from the past till today, and I see that Pedro has changed." But she said that both of them need to work on their communication issues. She feels like ever since her and Pedro, they got back from the Dominican Republic, he just changed. I wonder why. I'm saving the rest of my comments towards the end of this episode, so please bear with me. So Winter also said that Ja is stalking her from various social media accounts, trying to reach out to her. He's out here saying that she's involved, not directly involved, but there's some kind of witchcraft cloud hanging over her, and he wants to feel the need to save her. So he's slowly trying to manipulate Winter, and I'm glad that Winter actually is trying. It's hard for her, but at least she's opening up with her family about all of this, because this guy is just trying to manipulate her. And she feels like, I've now had this surgery. I want to move on with my life. It's new beginnings for me. I want to be the confident Winter that I was not. And this guy is still trying to come into my life, trying to destroy it, and just try to take me back to where I was. And I said, yeah, Winter, I know it's going to be difficult. It's not easy. It's a heartbreak. She's been with this guy for 7 years. She probably lost her virginity to this man. And yeah, it's hard. She's emotional. I know that she's not 100% over him, but she's taking steps to at least get over him. I'm just being realistic. You can never get over somebody in a second. So she needs to continue to block him and ignore him. The next scene is Nicole. I'm not sure if we all care about her.
So we see Nicole in the gym working out, and she took it upon herself to call her older brother, Pedro. And as some of you don't know, she and Pedro had a fallout in the Dominican Republic. They stopped talking for months. And that's because of Pedro's boyfriend, Alejandro, who was based in the States, but it turns out that he was married, even though he said that he separated, but that was a mess in itself. Nicole's family, which includes Lydia and Pedro, they never liked him. So they've had their own issues. They talk, and Pedro said, girl, I'm only picking your call because I heard that you broke up with Alejandro. That's the only reason. For the rest, I don't really care. And so she is trying to mend things, but you can see that their brother and sister relationship has kind of broken, you know, even though they're on speaking terms. But I feel with Pedro, it's never going to be the same again. And he said, oh, why did you and Alejandro broke up? She said, this dude, he's always controlling. He always instructs me who to be friends with, who not to be friends with, checking my phone. Like, I could not deal with all of that. She said that, Pedro, you know, I need your support. I will be participating in the upcoming national pageant, and I would love it if you as my brother will be there to support me. And he said, well, we cannot talk about supporting family because I tried looking for our biological father. You were against it. And she said that that man was alive. Like, I don't understand why you're angry with me. The man was alive. He never made the effort to look for us. And to be honest, as much as I don't like Nicole, I agree with her 1000%. When Pedro was going to look for his dad, I said this is not going to end up well. It never ends up well. I understand that people need closure and people need to find out for themselves who maybe their biological father is or mother and why they abandoned them. They need answers. But I'm like, I don't know, it's just personally me. Is it going to change anything? Like, you still feel gutted, even not worse, you find out what you're not supposed to find out. And then you even be more devastated. So I understand where Nicole is coming from. She said that man was alive all along. He never took the initiative to visit us. And turns out he's a married man. So that's not my business. So I kind of understand it. Pedro, he can be selfish at times. But anyway, that's their scene. So we finally see Chantel arriving back home. She brought a gift for Pedro. He liked it, and they start talking, and he said that, well, I didn't really miss you. I was glad to have this house to myself for 1 week. I said, damn, Pedro. And he said, at least I had my own peace of mind. I did not have constant nagging, and I'm just glad. And she said, damn, is it that bad? So he explained to Chantel that that Nicole is participating for Miss Dominicana Republic. And Chantel said, what? Chantel said, listen, no offense, yeah? I like to see my melanated people doing well, but this girl, even though she has the looks, but her personality says otherwise. And her personality is the opposite of what a miss should be. She doesn't carry herself with poise. The last time she was out here throwing a bottle in a public space, she thought it was a joke. And I said, yep, Chantel, I'm with you. I don't understand. Yeah. So as they were talking, Pedro said, well, I don't really care for Nicole like that. She can continue with her pageant and all that, even though we spoke, but I'm not really on solid terms with her. And Chantel took this opportunity to say that, listen, I see how you are. Nicole may not be my favorite person, but it seems like every single time you have an issue with somebody, you don't open up. You shut down. You don't talk to me. You do the same thing with me.
And it's like ever since we got back from the DR, you've been acting quite weird towards me. I feel isolated by you. Like we don't talk how we used to talk anymore. There's a distance between you and I. Why don't you open up? You just shut down, you act like nothing has happened, and then you start acting cold towards me. And Pedro said, listen, I don't need to really open up to you, yeah? All I just want is your support. That's it. I just want you to support me all the time and be there for me. She hesitantly said, okay. Like I said, I'm keeping my comments towards the end of this episode. So the next scene is Nicole with her robotic English. I mean, look, I'm not here dissing anybody. English is not everybody's first language. It's because of how I feel towards Nicole. That's why I'm making fun of her. That's the only reason why. She said, I am happy that I compete in competition. I said, Nicole, okay, girl. Sounding like a Barbie. But anyway, she and her mom and her best friend, they go to this clinic because she wants chin fillers. She wants to get ready for the pageant, enjoy herself, wants to be the best version of herself. And I said, okay, it looked kind of cute. I saw the before and after and it looked good. And the mom is just out here endorsing all these enhancements that Nicole is having. I wouldn't be surprised if her mom is preparing her to be with the sugar daddy. Seriously, because she's like, damn, I could not do these things when I was young. So you go, girl. And hey, if you happen to find that rich man, please don't forget about me. So she just explains to them the fallout that she has with Pedro. She tried communicating with him. He's still cold towards her. And the mom said, well, you know, it's because Alejandro came in between you guys. And she said, but I thought we've gotten over it. And I said, well, I guess not. I think the scene ends with them, with Nicole being shady towards Chantel. And she's like, before you know it, I'll end up being like Chantel's twin. Like, girl, okay. Nicole is so obsessed with Chantel. She secretly wants to be her. She's not fooling me. So we finally see Pedro at his job. We see him doing what he does. He's meeting up with a client who is, I think, a real estate investor. And so they just go through all of this. The woman has asked him a couple of questions, but he didn't know it by heart. It seems like he was unprepared. And so she just coached him and she gave him advice on certain things that he needs to do. So they just talk about everything that he needs to do from his point of view, since he's into real estate and everything. And shout out to Selling Sunset Tampa. That's the one I watch. I don't watch the main one, the LA one, because I've learned a lot about, you know, the real estate business. He and the client, they just talk about, oh, having family and having kids, and he said he's not ready for kids yet. Like now, before his career is taking off, and that's just what he wants to focus on. And I'm a bit 50-50 on that, because I don't know, tell me what you guys think. I think he can still, they're doing okay. They now have their house, everybody is working, the world does not stop still if you have children or when you want to have children. Like, he can still do it. It's not even like it's on her. If it's on her, then I would understand it, because you know how it is with women. They carry the pregnancy. They're sometimes more often with the child or with the children than the men. So I think that's just an excuse from his end. I understand that he wants to do well and he wants to try to do everything, but I don't know. Pedro has quite been off lately, and it just seems weird. It's more like an excuse that he doesn't want to have any children with her right now. And also, just to tell you guys, it's always like that, because he said that I was working in the warehouse, I was working 12 hours a day, and now I'm like, there's more to life, especially after what I went through during the last Dominican trip. I'm tired of being lazy,
and I just want to make the best out of life. And I think that's a good thing, but it's just you're out here isolating people. And so, speaking of that, you know how it is with the immigrant story. Usually they come here and then they do a job, of course, which is unqualified job. Any job is a job, a menial job. And then while you do your job, you study what you really want to do. It will take some years before you really get back into the groove. And then here we had Chantel who is a nurse. She was studying that all these years. And finally she's done. But Pedro feels like now it's his time. So he has a lot of catching up to do. Because again, you know, in this case, he's an immigrant. He came here at a later age and he has to catch up on so many other things. So Chantel and her mom, they go baby shopping, and it turns out that Royal, who is her older brother, her estranged brother, is like he and his wife are expecting. And so they're just looking for clothes, and Chantel gossips with her mom about Nicole entering the pageant, and the mom was just laughing. She said, with the way she threw that bottle, I hope they'll find that video. I said, yep. And so the mom said, when are we expecting you guys, your own child? And Chantel said, listen, I don't want to bring a child into this dysfunction we're currently having. We're currently going through a lot, and I want us to fix our own issues first before ever thinking of bringing a kid into the mix. And I said, thank you, Chantel. Thank you. Like Chantel, you are so wise, because when it comes to your fellow 90-Day Fiancé cast members, what a couple of them are doing, they're a hot mess. Bringing a child into dysfunction, I'm just saying. So the scene ends with Chantel doing her best, trying to do her best to be this submissive wife. She cooked, she cleaned, even to the extent that she had to clean up his drawers, and yeah, swallowing her pride. So Pedro comes in and she said, hey, look at this, I'm cooking for you, I'm doing this. And she said that she asked him, like, I'm preparing your scrambled eggs. And he said, I don't like scrambled eggs. And I'm like, and he said, I want them boiled. And she said, I already knocked the eggs. And he said, no, I just don't want it. So Chantel ended up boiling the eggs for him that he requested. And she just told him nicely, like, you know, look there, I've organized everything for you. I've set up everything for you. And he was just nonchalant about it. He didn't even say thank you. And he said in the confessional room that, listen, I've been trying to tell her. It's always when I tell her before she does it. Like, I'm just tired of that. He keeps asking her, you didn't put salt in the eggs that you boiled. And she said, I did. He said, I didn't see you doing that. So woman, just go and do it. And she said, what happened to you? You never talk to me like this. You always call me Pinky. What is with this behavior towards me? Why do you keep shutting me off? Why do you keep being dismissive towards me? I don't understand where this is coming from. Ever since we got back from the DR, you've been acting weird towards me. And he said that, well, Chantel, you're being selfish, because it's like all these years I was out, when I was working 12 hours a day, I was doing also most of the cooking and cleaning while you were studying. Yeah, I thought you would stop by that time, but now you're still doing it. Breaks down, Chantel breaks down, she becomes so emotional, and she's like, I don't know what is happening in my marriage, and I don't understand why he's behaving like this towards me. And it was a mess, seriously. The way I saw this episode, like, you could see that she really hit her breaking point. And I felt, I don't know, I felt bad for her. I really wish that they will work on their marriage. She was just so angry, and she just broke down. I don't know. Seeing Chantel like that is the first time I've seen her like that. Like, this is not even acting. I believe that this is real. And I know that news is floating around that they're getting a separation. I'm not sure how true that is, but Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, now my advice on Chantel and Pedro. No marriage is easy. Yeah, it comes with ups and downs. But as long as you guys keep the communication, even though Pedro is not my most favorite person, I kind of get where he's coming from. And I'm not excusing how he goes about it, but I kind of get where he's coming from. When it comes to a marriage relationship, things need to be 50-50. I mean, it's no problem if, okay, there are times that Pedro does most of the cooking, cleaning, and everything that comes with it. But at times to, you know, like I said, it's a teamwork. It's not only that he needs to do it. And imagine he was working 13 hours. And I know that Chantel was studying. But now, indeed, that Chantel is done with her studies and she's working, Pedro maybe feels that, okay, now at least you're not studying anymore. Put a bit more effort in it. I'm also busy with my career and I'm serious with what I'm doing in regards to the real estate. So please, I would expect you to also reciprocate. He feels that she's not really doing her so-called wifely duties, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but it should be a thing that comes from both ends. I understand what he means, but the way he goes about it is kind of wrong, because like Chantel said, you can open up to me, but I guess he thinks that if he opens up to her, she'll try to be defensive again, and I'm not sure if that happened before. You see, what we see on TV is only a glimpse, but we don't know what really happens behind closed doors. So I think maybe that's the reason why. I don't know why he's being closed off. And also, second of all, yeah, I'm glad that Pedro is doing well. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy for him. But I feel that, I'm not sure if he feels that he's trying to compete with Chantel. Because most men, I don't know, sometimes they have this ego thing. And when Chantel was always the breadwinner, we knew about that. When he got to the States, he was working in the warehouse. She was out here doing the higher position. He was there doing the menial position. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like, I'm not trying to dismiss. There's nothing wrong with that. But he felt like maybe all these years, he was Chantel's lapdog. I'm just being honest about it. He felt that he was Chantel's lapdog and she didn't really respect him that much. And he feels that now that he's into real estate and maybe Chantel does not like his colleagues or people he hangs around with work, he's secretly thinking that Chantel is jealous of him because he's evolving and he will be leaving her behind. And it's just a mess. And then I'm also shocked to hear that they haven't been intimate for months. I said, wow, it has gotten this far. They haven't been intimate. They haven't had sex for months. I hope Pedro is not cheating on her, because I just don't understand this. Something is not right here. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.